Hugh Jackman and Rebecca Ferguson re-team after The Greatest Showman in this new film, Reminiscence. It's out on HBO MAX and in theaters right now. I'm going to let you know what I think about this one next. Hey everyone, it's the Outlaw, back with a review for you here on the Outlaw Nation channel. Today we're taking a look at Reminiscence, this new film from Hugh Jackman and Rebecca Ferguson, written and directed by Lisa Joy, who's an executive producer on Westworld. I'm going to tell you about this one in just a minute, but first let me remind you to please subscribe to the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button, let you know when we're dropping all the new content that we got going on here on the Outlaw Nation. I'm sure you've noticed more content's been happening weekly here on the channel, so definitely subscribe and hit that bell button so you get access to all of it first. Also, head on over to Twitch. Follow or subscribe to me on Twitch there. The Outlaw Nation, all one word. Follow or subscribe to me there. And head on over to the Patreon, patreon.com/John Rocha. See all the multiple tiers you can be a part of and see all the ways that you can get benefits being a part of the Outlaw Nation Patreon. All right, let's get into my thoughts on Reminiscence.
You're going on a journey.
All right, this one comes to us from writer-director Lisa Joy. She's an executive producer over on Westworld, writer on Westworld. She also previously worked on Burn Notice and Pushing Daisies. But this film is her feature film directorial debut. She wrote the screenplay as well. And it stars Hugh Jackman, Rebecca Ferguson, Thandiwe Newton, Cliff Curtis, and a host of other character actors that you've seen in numerous things, including Angela Serafian. I hope I'm saying the right, Serafian. She was on Westworld, if you remember her as Clementine on Westworld as well. Anyway, the film is a futuristic sci-fi thriller noir mystery film, and it focuses on Nick Bannister. That's Hugh Jackman's character, who's a private investigator of the mind. He navigates the alluring world of the past when his life is changed by new client May. That's Rebecca Ferguson. A simple case becomes an obsession after she disappears, and he fights to learn the truth about her. May begins stealing from different people for her own reasons, and Nick is trying to figure out why. Yeah, basically the film is Nick trying to go through these memories because he's got this machine that he uses that can access people's memories because he runs a side business with Thandiwe Newton using this machine. Now, when May shows up, that's Rebecca Ferguson's character, she triggers something in Nick that makes him want to explore more, and they start this relationship, and then she disappears. So Nick spends a majority of the movie trying to figure out why she disappeared. Did she leave him? What was the impetus for her leaving? And then starts to go and try to solve this mystery. And Nick, you find out, is a former soldier. Thandiwe Newton, also a former soldier. That's how they know each other. And he goes on this mission to try to figure out what happened to May. There's a lot of twists and turns in this one. Let's just start with the things that I liked, all right, before we get to the things that I didn't like, which unfortunately are a number of things. But yeah, I will say Hugh Jackman and Rebecca Ferguson, still great chemistry between those two from Greatest Showman. Great to see them reunited here. There is some really potent sexual chemistry between those two that is fun to watch. Great to see Thandiwe Newton. She's badass as always, tough as nails. Of course, another Westworld alum there working with Lisa Joy. She's so good to see in this movie. She really grounds the movie in a foundation. When Hugh Jackman fly off into his fantastical approaches to solving this case, she's the one that keeps things grounded. Hugh Jackman, great. I mean, it's Hugh Jackman. He always delivers a damn good performance, and he's damn good here. And Cliff Curtis is in this movie, and look, he's good. He's always good. It's just the role itself isn't that strong, but he delivers a decent performance, a good performance, I guess, for what he's doing in the film, but there's not much to the character, which is unfortunate, but he does his best to kind of fill it with some life. And also want to give some love to Daniel Wu. I think it's always great to see Daniel Wu showing up in these films and try to be different, try to be kind of groundbreaking in their approach to sci-fi. And it was great to see him in this. You know, we see him in Warcraft, seen him in Geostorm. Yes, I said Geostorm, and Tomb Raider a few years ago as well. Another thing that I liked about this movie is the cinematography in some of the scenes. I mean, Paul Cameron, some of those visuals are just incredible to look at. And, I just wish the rest of the movie kind of lived up to the overall feel of those scenes. And unfortunately, they're too few and far between throughout the movie as well. And one more thing I give some love to, I liked Ramin Djawadi's music in this film. I think Ramin Djawadi's music was the right kind of pulsating music, the right kind of music that got you into the vibe of this kind of futuristic sci-fi noir mystery thriller that this movie is. And so gonna give some love to him as well. some of the things I didn't like about the movie, I can say right off the bat, it's derivative. It doesn't feel original. And I think there was the possibility of something original here, but in the end, it just feels very derivative. I mean, from the first few seconds of the movie, all you're thinking is Inception, and that thought never leaves you throughout the whole film. And then you can see shades of, as I mentioned earlier, Deja Vu. You see shades of Dark City. You see shades of The Maltese Falcon. You see shades of Chinatown. And you just kind of see the same things that you've seen before in other films, and it doesn't really break new ground as much as I think it was wanting to break new ground. Also, the story itself just starts to get muddled there when they're doing the twists and turns. And although you want to believe some of these leaps in logic, they don't really work. And when they're put together, it just doesn't hold up. It feels like an episode of television that was stretched out into 2 hours, and this film should not be 2 hours. It was stretched out into 2 hours, and by stretching it out, you started to see the cracks. You started to see the holes in the plot throughout the movie, and that's unfortunate. It doesn't mean that there isn't genuine emotion. I mean, there's a scene near the end of the movie between Rebecca Ferguson and Hugh Jackman that is absolutely excellent, and you might feel that. You might actually feel that because, as I said, this is an okay movie, certainly a watchable movie. You could do way worse when it comes to sci-fi, but this film itself overall, with the potential that it laid out, really doesn't hit it, and it's unfortunate. And I think some of the actors, as I mentioned, other than Rebecca Ferguson and Hugh Jackman, are a bit wasted, including Thandiwe Newton. I think Thandiwe Newton's a bit wasted in this film as well. That's another thing I could ding it for, is she gets presented as this kind of angsty, badass woman who used to be a soldier, a marksman no less, but we don't get to see more with her. We don't get to see her go off on her own and do her own thing and kind of rival when Hugh Jackman goes off on Nick Bannister goes off on his own to do his own thing. We don't see her going off on her own, kind of doing her own exploration, her own investigation of what's happening here. I think it would have been nice to see that. I don't understand why you cast Thandiwe Newton and then sideline her for a majority of the second half of the movie. It doesn't make any sense to me. So it's just kind of frustrating when you see something, especially when you've got a female writer and director who is sidelining a female character. That just didn't make sense to me in any way, shape, or form. Don't construct a badass character and then don't give them badass things to do other than maybe one scene. And I think that was frustrating for me on a number of levels. All right, so overall, I give the film 2.5 cowboy hats. It's an okay film, not a good film. Certainly a film that's not going to, kind of upset you or you get angry about it if you see it. It's a watchable film. If you want to enjoy some time with Hugh Jackman and Rebecca Ferguson and Thandiwe Newton, you could do worse. So, if you want to watch it, if you're in the mood for some new content, I wouldn't tell you not to watch it. So, but just don't go in expecting anything original, unique, or interesting necessarily. I think you might be let down if that's your approach to this one. All right. Well, if you get a chance to watch it, let me know what you thought of the movie down in the comment section below. Oh, and let me know what you thought of this review in the comment section below as well. Remember to share the video on your social media. It's always important to share the video and let people know that you enjoy what's going on here on the Outlaw Nation channel. And speaking of the channel, please remember to subscribe to the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button so you see when we're dropping all the new content we do here on the channel. Also, head on over to Twitch and follow and subscribe to me there for watch-alongs and play-alongs and what have you. And then head on over to the Patreon, patreon.com/John Rocha, so you can see all the multiple tiers where you can support the Outlaw Nation and everything we are doing here. Also, remember to follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram, and listen to my podcasts and subscribe to them as well. The Top 10, the Cinephiles, and the Geek Buddies, all out there for you to enjoy. All right, that's it from me. Y'all take care. I'll see you in the future for another review here on the Outlaw Nation channel.
I've turned a blind eye to plenty. I have to do this.